Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a DC Compact Comics edition from DC Comics. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, and the art is done by Bill Quees Evely. I'm so sorry, bro. Or chick. I'm sorry. Anyway, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is the comic, graphic novel, miniseries, whatever, that's supposed to be the basis for this new Supergirl film with Millie Alcock, James Gunn's direction, not as a director, but just that universe. I wanted to read it before the film came out, and you can tell from reading it, aside from Lobo, and aside from apparently the whole Supergirl being a heavy drunk, not just celebrating like she is in the beginning of this book, that it's gonna be pretty faithful, more than likely, to this book overall. Tom King is heavily involved in these new, in this James Gunn universe, and I don't know how I feel about that either. To be honest with you, I'm not a Tom King guy. I just, everything I read from him feels so pretentious. I like parts of his Batman run, but that's it for me. The last Batman run, I think he's doing something newer. I could be wrong about that. I never could bring myself to read Vision Quest or Vision or whatever the fuck that was. Just not a Tom King guy. When I read his one-offs and the Batman and Superman issue 1000s and stuff, I just don't like his storytelling. It's so pretentious. It's such horseshit. And this is no different. I hated this book by the end of it. I was kind of miserable while I read it, despite its positives here and there. But I didn't like the book. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the plot briefly. Essentially, there's a girl named either Ruthie or Ruthie. I don't know. Essentially, her dad gets killed. She witnesses it, and it's by this guy named Krem of the Yellow Hills. And throughout the book, you have narration from her in yellow text blocks throughout every page and every panel that are from the perspective of her later in life as an old woman, recounting the events of her teaming up with Supergirl after Supergirl saves her from kind of a bounty hunter guy she tries to hire in a bar to go kill Krem of the Yellow Hills, who murdered her dad. And Supergirl saved her, and pretty much the rest of the book, and all of the yellow text blocks referring to her adventures, are from the perspective of her and Supergirl and what they did. May or may not have, we could say. This is a spoiler-free review, just so you know. I will tell you up front, James Gunn or anybody, if you are listening to this review, I doubt you are, but if you are, if the movie turns out the way this book is told, you're going to have a big flop. It's going to be a big flop if that's the case, and that would be unfair to somebody like Millie Alcock, who I think seems like she could do okay as Supergirl. I like the costume they have for Millie Alcock's Supergirl. That's coming from somebody who's never really read much Supergirl. Just not a fan, doesn't appeal to me. I like Superman, but I've barely read any of his stuff either. Woman of Tomorrow it has its moments of Supergirl being a cool character who is basically Superman. And that's fine. I don't really have issue with it because they're so similar, but she also has a past that Superman doesn't. Despite both of them coming from Krypton after its destruction, she was old enough, as all of us know, to witness those events happen. And I think it's like her 20th birthday or 21st birthday or something, when we're introduced to her in this book. She's just kind of celebrating and going around and drinking and stuff. And that was kind of fine, I guess. I don't really like the idea of a superhero like Supergirl and what she's supposed to represent. I don't really like that part of her being kind of like a drunk and whatnot. So I'm a little put off with that, just like I was with the Superman movie and this new Supergirl film where they seem to be doing the same thing. Don't turn Supergirl into a drunk. Don't do that. Now, Krypto's here. I like Krypto's parts of the book too. I enjoy that. And let me tell you, the art from Evely here is really good most of the time. There are a lot of parts of this, a lot of panels of this, that are drenched and covered in this Ruthie character, like her narration from the future, talking about all these events. And I'm not even fucking kidding with you. There are probably 90% of these blocks shouldn't be there. As an editor, as a backseat editor, I'm just saying about 90% of these blocks shouldn't be there, or they should be about something else. Because this chick will go on, Tom King's writing will go on in the most wannabe, elegant, ridiculous, pompous way. It just goes on and on and on. Like this review, for that matter. I hate Tom King's writing style. It's like he got away from the one-word comments like Batman would make here and there in his run back in the day, to now we have characters like Ruthie, who's supposed to be a fucking farmer, who will go on and use these big-ass words that I don't use. I'm not a fucking farmer. I'm blue-collar, but I'm not a farmer. And she's, like, by the end of the book, she's talking with a fucking country accent and stuff. Now, it doesn't need to be pointed out, but it's addressed enough to me because it's so out of the blue. You know, like, she can't... At first, she doesn't know how to use cuss words and stuff because she just doesn't know how to use them, and Supergirl kind of teaches her those things in a goofy, off-the-screen way. But a lot of their adventure is like them going into space and them going over to this territory and this planet over here. And they're kind of just in search for Krem, but you have these small adventures throughout these 8 issues of this storyline collected here. And it's always the same fucking crap every time we do a storyline like this. Like, they go to one planet and, like, they go to this place, and apparently there was some kind of holocaust of these other types of people that were, like, I think they were supposed to be the purples or something. I don't know. It was so fucking stupid. We wasted a whole issue on racism on some other planet, and it really didn't affect the story the way you would think it would, whether it be in the yellow text blocks, whether it be in the storyline and what happens there. It felt like this book wasted my time so often that it genuinely pissed me off, and I had to go to Goodreads when I finished the book just to see what other people that I usually see in comments of every book and channel, every comic that I look at, they pop up as reviewers, so I read a bunch of their stuff, and they all hated it too. So, like, it doesn't make me unhappy to see that other people despise this shit as much as I do. Whether you're a Supergirl fan or not, it doesn't focus on her enough because it's about Ruthie, or Ruthie, or whatever the fuck her name is, the farmer girl who's trying to get revenge. Krem, the bad guy, there is, like, probably about 20% development for his character of what there should be for his character, as big of a deal as he is. As big of a deal as this whole revenge, hunting him down, Western feel, as important as that is, we get, like, 20% of what he should get for development. Krem is not the worst, like, monstrous villain ever, and yet somehow he can pose a threat to Supergirl with some of the magic he can use. One in particular has one of the goofiest moments I've ever seen in my life, that if they do that in the movie, and also if they involve the horse in this movie, which I don't think they will, I think they'll kind of put Lobo in place of the horse guy. I don't even want to get into the territory about the fucking horse, because I don't know anything about that. I'm assuming it's the typical Tom King, not Tom Cage, whoever that is. I feel like it's the typical Tom King, Grant Morrison thing of going back to, like, the Golden Age and the Silver Age and pulling out shit that no one cares about, no one remembers, and it's not good most of the time, and putting it in whatever year this was released, 2021, 2022. That's what that feels like, the horse thing, just saying. I'm hoping Lobo can save that movie, because I think he looked cool in the first trailer, the little glimpse we got, and then the second trailer kind of made me dislike it even more, and the overall look of the movie more. I hope it's not completely dedicated to what the storyline is, because by the end of it, like I said, I was really hoping the final issue would kind of resolve my problems with the book, maybe make it better. Hell no. It didn't. I fucking hated this. I will never read this shit again. Probably going to sell off or give away this compact comic edition, because it's not going to take up room on my shelf, man. I don't care how small this digest volume is. And again, the art can be really good. The art's the most beautiful thing about the book. You know, like, Evely, I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try for the first name again, like I said. Evely, there are moments of Supergirl doing things in space, and the color scheming and everything. The style of art for her, she didn't do the coloring. The colorist in here, killer job on this. But all of this artistry in that part makes up for a lot of this book. Just telling you. It's not a complete waste of your time. But the Supergirl character, like I said, I really like what she's trying to do. I like the kinds of lessons she's trying to teach Ruthie. But Ruthie as a character, you cannot put this kind of character as the lead character in a movie or a TV show. Everyone will mock it and hate her. So please, for the love of God, James Gunn, whoever, This new Supergirl film cannot have a Ruthie just like this book. They just cannot do this, or you will have a bomb. I'm telling you. So, anyway, I don't like this book. I'm never going to read it again. Like I said, I'm a little surprised. I've heard people that I know, that I watch on YouTube, give this such a positive review because of how messy and sloppy this feels. And a lot of Tom King stuff feels that way, and supposedly it's for the sake of his own style. It's like that bullshit excuse they give Cormac McCarthy all the time. That bullshit style that they give him an excuse for, it just makes books worse to me. It makes comics worse to me. I don't need every detail expanded upon. I don't need every story decompressed where everything is super detailed for storylines and parts of it that don't really matter. The problem is Tom King compresses his comics too much. They're compressed too much compared to like 70s Ghost Rider or 80s Punisher or anything like that. I'm not trying to say he has to be like that, but I'm just saying it ain't that great here either. So anyway, when it comes to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, aside from the art, it's a fucking rough story, man, with a terrible ending that I don't think bodes well for Supergirl or Ruthie for that matter. I wanted to like Ruthie. I wanted to care about her revenge story. I just don't. You don't even have a good villain in Krem here. I don't know if he was a character before or after this book, mainly before it. But he's not a good villain. He's just not. Maybe they could do more with him in the film. There's a little bit more that happens in the story, like involving crypto and stuff. You probably have seen it from the trailer. I don't want to go too much into that and talk about it, so I won't. Do I recommend this book? Absolutely not. There's a chance that the film could be a more refined, better version of this. I'm not sure. But I would recommend that over top of this, to be honest with you. I haven't seen it yet, obviously. But this is fucking bad. I don't like it. I don't recommend it. So anyway, what did you think about Woman of Tomorrow? Did you love the book? Did you hate it? Let me know all that down below. What's your favorite Supergirl story, if you guys happen to read any of her stuff? I'd love to hear that down below, too. Maybe I can find something I want to watch with it. I kind of want to finally see the old Supergirl film. I've never seen that before. I might watch that before this new movie comes out. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.